The opening map of Ancient went the full distance, and well, it probably should have gone to overtime as well, but an incredible 2v5 gets pulled off, and a lot of mistakes made on both sides, I would say, across this game. It got awkward when Entropiq were quite nicely ahead at the start.
One thing's for sure, that was one entertaining map of CS. It had everything, had a lot of up and down moments, a lot of exciting clutches as well. But yeah, in the end, it's just what was the bane of the existence of Enterprise is just in some advantageous situations, really, they've misplayed it by a tiny margin, and the players from Entropiq were able to take advantage of that.
For me, one thing that for sure is that somebody needs to tell Alien that the smoke is the one that puts out the molly, not the name. But overall, Ancient, like any other, I feel like every round has been decided by who takes control of Banana. You know, at the first like 6 or 7 round, it was Entropiq who were like on the CT side, really dominating that, and then they started losing it. What I didn't like is them pretty much not kind of adapting to it. They kept fighting it, even with the lower money. They keep forcing buys and keep losing that battle. It was at 8-7, and we saw what happened in the second half. A lot of like individual mistakes and not really like coordinated, like, you know, retakes or actually takes off the site. It was like a little bit messy, and luckily for Entropiq, they got that like gift of the last round and managed to kind of close it.
It certainly was a gift, but before we get to that one, let's take a look at round 9 that you guys picked out here, because it was the crazy clutch, the team kill that in there because the player had lagged out. Like, there was a whole lot of madness.
We picked out a couple of rounds because there were so many like game-turning, momentum-turning rounds, and this was, as you can see, a 3v4 for Enterprise, right? And well, actually a 2v4 really, because Eli, I think, is the player who just lags out here, and then Forsey has to team kill him to even have a chance of winning the round, to take the C4. He clutches it, and we were talking about how, you know, CIS teams, they're not really prone to getting surprised by aggression or being, you know, caught off guard, but they are prone to tilting sometimes. Yeah. And it was after this, they already force bought into this round to try and reset Enterprise, then they force bought again after this, right? That was definitely just like, how did we lose a round like that? And you could tell that gave, like, this was in the middle of 5 rounds that Enterprise managed to win on the T side, and that really gave them like a good buffer for the second half.
He didn't even have the scope for that team kill. He was just straight up no scope. I could have missed that, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is, like, they played the money.
You would have
game,
missed
right?
even if you scored.
Yeah, I would just missed anything. And there was like an elephant there, I would miss him too. But the thing is, like, they played the money game and they lost, and they were forcing when they were not supposed to force. And like Janko said, it just gave them a lot of like easier rounds than it should have been, you know. And they built about 7 or 8, and after that they kind of went for a comeback. Even after that, like around the time expired, right? That was a lot of mistakes there, and kind of gave them a chance to come back. Sadly, they didn't, but you know what you gonna do.
Yeah, they were gifted some rounds that still wasn't enough for them to take the win. We're going to look at another one, because it's round 4's getting this entry on round 26, you pointed out, Janko. We spoke about 4's needing to have a bigger impact.
Yeah, this was weird, because if Enterprise wins this round, again, you can see the money on Entropiq, it's not great. They decide to go for that B rush, basically, that worked for them in some situations. They get the entry kill, you can see on the radar, Enterprise has 4 players there, but no one is watching the site. You know, like, it's just going to be so awkward as Entropiq pushes in. You can see how they're like trying to fight for that Cape Corridor area, and then Nickelback just catches Forsey as he's coming back towards the side, and all of a sudden all the Entropiq players are in position, they're holding the angles, and the round falls apart. They had a good read, they had 4 players there and a 5v4.
Perfect read, and they had 4 smokes, 2 mollies, and a couple of flashes. Nobody in the side, nobody in that cubby, suicide cubby or whatever, ninja cubby, whatever people call it. And they were just let go of the side, but they were all there. And then retake after that is super difficult. They gave up the kills. They didn't try to retake with utility. They tried to retake by running in, which is basically suicide, right? And then they got obviously slaughtered. Then it was 14 round plus the extra money for Entropiq that kind of put them.
That got them to 15.
Yeah.
Got them to 15, and they almost didn't get to 16, because we've got to look at this final round. It was a 2v5, right? And they had no business winning this.
Yeah, I was putting my jacket on. I was like, all right, you know, like, this is going to take a little bit longer as well. A huge advantageous situation. You see a 5v2. And again, like, he is just trying to play for info, shoulder picking, can't blame too much there, but at this point, they're just picking them apart, they're isolating the fights, really, and this is where the lack of experience for Enterprise kind of shows.
Definitely, you can see after that a little bit of a glitch in the game, I guess, or I don't know. You see the flash coming in here. It's gonna hit under the ledge, and it's not gonna flash the guy after this. You can see this, I think, right here. the flash is gonna land, not flashing him, but he was like kinda, he wasn't expecting it not to be flashed. Like, it was a bit weird. He got killed, and after that, it was a super safe post plant from like a retake from Enterprise. They just got caught one by one.
And we saw yesterday from some Pius in that half buy win where he picked up the op and got a 4K on Inferno, right? Alien here again understands they killed the opper. He has the advantage as well. He can take all these deep angles and gets a couple of crucial kills and just saves Entropiq for having
I feel like
to play overtime.
that's like instinct for the player. It's not really something that's like taught or something that you gain over years or something. He understood immediately and just reacted on it as young as player as he is and just won the map for his team.
And now it's looking real good for Entropiq to try and take this 2-0, and we're going to go straight into it. We're back with Dinko and Hawker to see if Entropiq will grab the 2-0 or can Enterprise bounce back from that disastrous final round.
Yeah, heartbreaking finish for Enterprise, but they really have a hard job now to try and pull off a nuke win. Entropiq coming into this one with their map pick have looked so solid, don't recently look comfortable. I think this is going to be a real difficult side to see if Enterprise can keep this up and get an upset win over Entropiq. It should be Entropiq taking this all day long. So right into the pistol, Elian is down and out. Forces picked up the first pick. Trade does come in from Nickelback relatively quickly though, as now the 8 side under a lot of pressure. 2 CTs down at Diaz. He's in with a headshot and Lackey's out of the round. Man advantage in play for Enterprise.
Ramp control being taken, but Mangus is still here, holding a defensive angle. Spots those players, but Krad is sneaking up close. So Clay behind him, they're going to double swing this angle, and Krad still looking for the kill. It's an awkward extended fight. Finally, Krad falls, and that's the bomb going with him.
And now just Nickelback left in a 1 versus 4. Entropiq will not be steamrolling into the pistol here. We've seen some unreasonable clutches come out of Entropiq, but I think this one is fair to say it is done. And DS will confirm. 4 players still alive for Enterprise as they win the pistol. A good start into their opponent's map pick. It's essential here, really. They have to get off to a good start, Hawker. Otherwise, this could become a real sticky situation. So, into play. Entropiq didn't get a bomb plant, so no strong force buy coming out for them.
They've bought what they can, but they may have to rely on pace here. Also, only 1 flashbang for Entropiq. So if you were going for an upper sight pop, for example, out onto A, you'd probably want a few more flashes than that, because keeping your opponents blind is the best way to gain ground onto A. So instead, they'll go yard, where Forsey has already handled them through the smoke.
Yeah, Nickelback gets picked out first.
Oh, the Alive will be in a pretty good position here to try and stop this.
Resmoke from Krad. Trying to jump over the top, but the Alive flicks up with a peek onto Krad. That's a kill coming through. A little Deacon from Elian trying to cause problems, but the Alive is ready. And takes the line out of the round. 2 players left here for Entropiq, and they did try to play with pace. They tried to play with Fury, but it's only Lackey down in lower with the bomb. He's trying to let Forcer deal with the player. Yard, and Alive just, again, taking a strong position. Another kill out of left for him as Lackey sticks around, pushed from 2 sides, just gets swarmed on by the Enterprise side.
I mean, the strat was to get the bomb down secret. It just would have been nice if, you know, he had some teammates down there and maybe not the CTs rotated. They got the first part of the plan.
Maybe took it so literally. It's like, get the bomb down secret, and that's where he stops.
And that was it.
But 2-0 for Enterprise. Here comes just pistols out for Entropiq. It's not a lot going into this one. Enterprise should be taking a nice little bank rolling round, pick up some money in those MP9s, rock the FAMAS for a while longer, but Entropiq's all about trying to get a bomb plant, see what damage you can find here. That should be very difficult to pull off.
Not many options here, even with the flashes. At least they've gained ground at yard, but they're being spotted. The Alive will take a pretty comfortable early kill. They actually got down the vents with the bomb briefly, but I think that has now been denied. The follow-up comes in as the Alive chases down the vents, and so any bomb plant will be stolen away from them.
Yeah, and they go back down. But back in 2018, Mouse Sports won the event. As you mentioned, Oscar was the MVP of that tournament back in 2018, but also had Sticko playing in that. And Sticko made a post today about reminiscing back to the times of when he picked up that event in 2018 with the Mouse Sports side. While this tournament is going on, he was saying how it was such a great moment for the region. Enterprise is doing the region pretty proud right now, going deep into this competition, confirming at least a quarterfinals placing, and representing the 2 nations of Slovakia and Czech Republic again, Hawk. It's great to see them in this stage of the tournament, and they've actually provided us with some exciting sets over the last few days.
The strong start on Nuke is nice for them here. They kind of needed this, I think, to have a chance here on Entropiq's map pick. They could have bought the AWP in this round, but they've decided to keep the weaker weapons. Oh, a bit of spam damage through. The Alive down to 56 health, and Forrester actually finds him through the smoke.
Yeah, gets the opening pick nice and easy. Goes back for a second, trying to double up. Unable to pick that one up though, but he has dealt out significant damage onto the Alive.
And this is where Entropiq can afford to slow things down. They've got Lackey in the advanced position on Yard. So Yard smokes could be a possibility with the smokes they have in hand. Couple going down to at least give Enterprise something to think about on the lower side of the map. And you can see on the mini-map, they've got 2 players down on this lower side right now. So Enterprise are somewhat ready for this. But one of those CTs is the Alive, who is extremely low on health.
This time they've got numbers down secret. And Entropiq start to play forward, rotation already made. We'll see if the Alive can do anything about it.
At least a headshot angle here, low on health.
Exactly. Either we get headshot, you're out of the round anyway. 100 or 1 HP, doesn't matter. As they come swinging around the corner, the Alive is going to be under a good bit of pressure, but at least has Mattis to try and alleviate some of it, and that's exactly what Mattis is going to do as he pulls them all in! A massive 4K coming out of Mattis in the vent, and the bodies of Entropiq lay across the floor. It's just Forrester left into a 1v4, and 17 seconds, no possession of the bomb. He has just mangled them, Mattis. Unbelievable, he turns back and gets that 4K. Just crunches their bones and leaves them down in the vents.
And that's an excellent example of how to use that low health player as bait in that scenario. Entropiq were probably expecting only one player to have rotated down towards that aggressive lower side of the map. So the fact that they spot the Alive means they instantly want to hunt down that kill. And that means Mattis was waiting in the wings the whole time. And you can see these first players not really clearing him. Now they feel like they have to be pressured into pushing this position. That final frag is just ridiculous though, flicking back across. And Enterprise, well, they've got off to a strong start here on Nuke. Individual shining. Entropiq not getting many chances to even make these rounds competitive. And this time, Hooch not being too vocal in this tactical timeout.
Instead, Nickelback is the one chiming in. We can listen in on the team comms. We can't really understand what they're saying, but certainly you guys can hear them at home. Always, that's one thing. Every time I'm at an international event, Hawker, I always realize how terrible our education is when it comes to language. We probably just don't speak anything other than English.
Ooh, quick vent drop for Forrester.
Yeah, he's down already. Yeah, he's going to be down in towards the lower side. They're going to try and play through the ramp instead. Alongside Mangus's MP9. He's going to be under a bit of pressure now as the swing out Krat has been found early on, giving Enterprise the first pick. Marcus can't really do much about that ramp place. They are going to be able to evade him and just run down in towards the lower side. Nickelback moves forward with the P250. Will commit to the bomb plant. Missed shot from Elian. Let's pick up info though and holds them off for a little bit longer, but it's Forrester that got himself into this spot at the beginning of the round, who's looking to try and take down numbers, but that AK unable to get much done, so has to rely on some of the weaker weapons. And when we say weaker weapons, perhaps Nickelback in the Eagle could have done something, but Nickelback's P250 now switched out to the AK. Elian gets overrun by the MP9. It's just Nickelback left. Bomb is ticking away, but bullets flying through the smoke, and they will connect through the doorway as Forsey hits the headshot. Defuse will come through. Entropiq will be happy about the extra money they've got on board. Enterprise very happy with a 5-0 start. That's exactly what we said they needed to do coming into Nuke, getting that flawless beginning with a 5-0. Here comes a real tough test as Elian comes onto the AWP, and the AKs will be around him.
Good sign for Enterprise that they don't panic either once they lose this B side of the map. They know that it's okay to just play this as a retake scenario with the weaker weapons in play for Entropiq. Sure, you allow a bomb plant, which isn't ideal, but letting the round spiral out of control further would have been worse. So they group up and make sure they don't give away 1v1 fights where a gun could have been stolen away from them. Now Entropiq need to show us what they can do on these gun rounds. Their first gun round was kind of a non-starter thanks to that massive multi-kill down the vents. This time round, they've got the yard control being fought for. Lackey takes a good bit of damage from that nade. The Alive flash through, but there are too many players at yard.
Lion with the first pick. Forrester has found the follow-up. Two-man advantage already locked in. As Entropiq feeling good about this gun round beginning. Enterprise have got a source way back into the round, and Forsey playing more defensively from CT spawn side. Gonna be creeping towards his crosshair in the time being. It's Forsey peeking out and catching him looking the wrong way. Able to get one. If he's more accurate on the first bullet, maybe he gets an extra millisecond to think about the second kill, but because of the inaccuracy of the first bullet, reply from Nickelback is quick and swift. And we'll find his follow-up.
Both players stacked A on the CT side. They are on the right side of the map here to try and get a crossfire going. It's still a long shot though.
Oh, Diaz from up on the rafters, deploy damage from above, but Mangus only manages 2 kills. Was a good performance out of him, but just so many players alive. And Elian is the player that stays up for Entropiq as they get their first round posted on their map pick. Has been a pretty good start here for Enterprise indeed, but eventually it was inevitable that Entropiq would enter the scoreboard sooner rather than later.
It's Forrester being a real pest around that squeaky door. We saw the smoke kill previously. This time he's able to spot the vision just before the smoke to get that frag onto main. And then even though Enterprise had a solid crossfire, they were just so far behind that as long as Entropiq were together, they always had a good chance of trading out to victory. So Entropiq finally on the board. They would like to keep that win streak going. Forrester's taken damage there, down to 26 health. I think that was the AWP shot potentially coming in towards him.
Don't have much control here in Entropiq of the map at all. They haven't really thrown those outside deep smokes, haven't really tested it, haven't put any pressure towards that side, so chilling in inner right now. There isn't much information gathering going down for the CTs though. Just playing from back garage. They're playing from hell as well, but not really actively looking out for that info at outside, so Entropiq getting away from it for now, just staying inside of the bomb site.
So far, Entropiq have tended to follow up those yard smokes. They've tried to create that tendency for Enterprise to be aware of early, but this time they're not following up the yard smokes. They're coming back to A.
Yeah, the 3 go out, but the A play is certainly the call as Nickelback will get the opening. Alive and Diaz find themselves 2, and Nickelback is doing a great job of just swiftly cutting the numbers back into even odds. And now peers towards Heaven, where another player is about to enter from. Forsey waiting for the time to strike, waiting for his teammates to perhaps get in a better position. Alive has to be the playmaker alongside Mangus to try and create that space back into the site. Elian plays from door, watches the vent. Nickelback can see vent as well. Mangus goes up, realizing he had a timing onto the AWP, but Nickelback is able to trade it out. And now just one player, Forsey from Heaven, and Crad will bring him down. 2 rounds now for Entropiq as they will double up in a row.
Nice angle selection from Crad at the end there. Realizing his teammate was out in the open, so he just needed to be in a position where once that AWP starts to go for the fight, he can face him together with his teammate. These flashes are what make the round, though. These flashes out onto the site blind Adias, so Nickelback can just run out through Hut. Because Adias there at the top of rafters is the man who is meant to be holding Hut, but because he was so blind, Enterprise couldn't play the crossfire they wanted to. They couldn't have him locking down the position they wanted him to. So they're able to get out onto the site and just catch those players off guard.
Tactical timeout having to come in here for Enterprise early on. Not wanting to let Entropiq get their hands over this T side. They had a fantastic start, Enterprise, going up 5-0 early. Entropiq now with 2 locked in a row. Got a buy that could certainly rival that of Entropiq's here, Enterprise. The AWP out for Forsey, the rifles around it. Good utility for everybody, but it will be a last stand buy. If they lose this round, their money is looking pretty rough. The majority of players for Entropiq is the same story. Important round here for both sides. We'll tell the story of the next few rounds, I'm sure.
Especially when you're on that CT side. As soon as you lose track of that economy, it can become a spiral for you. Would be nice for Entropiq to have Lackey get on the board at some point. He's that player oftentimes lurking through yard, left alone at times to try and create pressure on that position. And that can be a very important position on the map. This is a switch up from Enterprise though. Look at the lobby aggression. They've got so many CTs taking this control. And so the response from Entropiq is to just go for the yard play.
Yeah, the 3 smokes up this time. They fully commit with it.
There are already 2 CTs on lower, though, including the AWP of Forsey.
Yeah, but Forrester's starting to dwindle the numbers. He's brought down the Alive, and now they start to think about an A play. Matt is looking back, but Forrester, what a headshot, straight through Hut. 50 seconds left, and now Entropiq hit the site. And those 2 players that were once a strength down on the lower side are now a liability.
Angus looks for a fight, but if he doesn't win one soon, the save call could be the right one. And Lackey even gets him as he tries to escape through the vent.
Yeah, Diaz and Forsey, two remaining players. Not much they can do about this. They did make that preemptive rotation down to the lower site. Looked like the right call until Forrester's massive play in the late round gets them onto the A site. So quick and decisive from Entropiq to call for that play into the A site in the end.
Yeah, it's a great understanding of the overall picture of the whole map in that round. You realize that Enterprise have taken lobby control, and a lot of times, if CTs take lobby control, they will feel like it's unlikely to be the A play, because pushes through Squeaky and Hut are pretty common when taking that A site. So Entropiq realize there's a reasonable chance that Enterprise may have rotated some players down to B, assuming it could be that lower-sided play, and that the one weak spot might be able, if you can just sneak in behind to this A-bomb site, that could be the best way to go about it. And then those Enterprise players in lobby not in the best position. And Mangus at the end there, I think he was trying to get away from a heist, but clearly he tripped the tripwire at some point, gave it away.
Yeah, it's caught going up the ladder with too much money in his bag, perhaps. Slows him down. Peek out into the door. Forsey trying to hold for an aggressive play. They don't have too many resources here, so they're putting a lot of pressure on the AWP to step up and get them some of that space back, to have more of that impact available. It's not going to work out for the early pick yet, though. Entropiq taking their time, not rushing too far into anything. They turn their attentions back to ramp. Thought Mangus would have had a chance there, but Elliot so quick on the trigger. The AWP scopes in on its victim. Claims it, and Forrester continues with the rifle. Chop through the legs of the defensive players. It's Forsey, Diaz, and the Alive left now in a 3 versus 5. Not much map control nor information. They will drop down into the lower site, getting ready for a potential B hit, and that certainly looks like what's on the cards here for Entropiq as they wait for some aggression. That door at decom will swing wide open. Alien spotted the player dropping back. Now they've got cover. The bodyguard squad down for the bomb plant. Entropiq keeping 5 up for the time being, and the money not in a good spot at all for the CT side. Unlikely they find their way into the round win. It's all about just trying to save this M4 and the AWP into the next for Enterprise. But Entropiq now have brought the scoreline back to 5-4. They are still behind by 1 round, but that could change very quickly.
The problem here for Enterprise is, even if you were thinking about whether it's worth playing exit frags to keep the Entropiq economy weak, Entropiq have won so many rounds that their money is good, and it's good enough that they're actually going to hunt themselves. Forsey on a single point of health. I don't see him surviving here.
Just have your glasses on, Hawk, because that was accurate. Forsey gone. 5-4. Enterprise, take a look at the money they've got.
Yeah, Forsey has to go glass cannon now.
It's going to be a buy up, and yeah, Forsey's effect towards the end of the round, but Elliot and Forrester, 2 players that really started to deliver some impact in the late and early round.
Man, Forrester just keeps finding those kills through door.
He's just been finding a lot of success there.
And that is a position where if you keep on losing those fights at door, you maybe don't want to play for information there as much on the CT side, and can become awkward to be able to get that early info you would be looking for. Forsey has been pretty active with the AWP across the map so far, peeking Squeaky in the previous round. This time he wants the ramp pick, but I'm not sure he's going to get given that opportunity just yet.
Yeah, it's a difficult angle chosen here as well. We see a couple of AWPers now choosing this angle, and needs a quick reaction out of it, but Lackey slipping through the back of the smoke. Oh, he's body blocked and found one. The Alive is down first. Matt is able to try and recover it. And Adias in the follow-up as well. The CT side have got a couple of kills now as that bomb's down in the open. So many players available for the CT side, and not a lot of space available at all for Entropiq as they start to back off, realizing their chances in this round are now dwindling significantly. I'm never going to count out players on Entropiq, though, after what we've seen in the last round of Ancient Hawker. You can never really say a round is completely done.
Forrester still having a look towards Yard. It might be difficult to predict the player at Secret, though. Mangus doing damage.
Yeah, Forrester really needed that kill quickly. I think he's just staying alive now. It's going to cause some problems and buy some extra time. And yeah, we're now just getting up on the T roof. 30 seconds. Carrying AWP and an AK. Got a lot of cash here on the T side.
Yeah, if I were Entropiq here, I'd think about whether it's worth trying to do a bit of damage. I think Alien's AWP is valuable enough. You probably want to save that. But if Forrester wants to hang around and see if 1 or 2 more kills are possible, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
That's exactly what they're doing. Alien's all the way back in T-spawn. Forster just hanging around the T-roof, hoping some aggression's going to come his way.
Thing is, you're also fine with the save, realistically.
I mean, you've got 2 options there that are available. The round hasn't gone the way you wanted to, but Mangus has slipped his way through. I don't think he's going to be spotting out anybody here towards the end of the round. Forster just did get spotted towards the end there, but he's behind the vent with cover. But it is Enterprise who now go to 6 rounds. They're going to be showing that they can compete and will compete even when the guns are out for Entropiq. It did start to get a little bit worrying once Entropiq got the cash flow going their way. Enterprise have now figured it out, and they dealt with a little bit more of an explosive play there from Entropiq.
Yeah, it's that attempted split through main. Lackey able to get that first kill, but then the positions for Enterprise were pretty good at handling those players coming out through hut. Let's see if Entropiq want to go for anything faster in this one. Elian is searching for that early kill through Squeaky. Couple of players in towards ramp here.
Oh.
Those nades were a nice idea, but Mangus able to duck away from them.
Cool for just forcing that aggression back anyway. You know, if you don't get the pick, at least you force the player back. Makes them think twice about sticking around. This 3-man early setup on the A site could be quite difficult to crack open if you're Entropiq. Not really committing towards outside again.
It's another new position for Forsey, this time playing down Secret fairly early in the round. This time, though, I'm not sure he'll get much chance to have impact from that position. Entropiq having a look through Squeaky. They could end up on the A play here, but Mattis has gone aggressive.
Oh, Mattis has gone aggressive right into a couple of players. Just one for Mattis, so DSC able to peek out with a follow-up as well for the CT side. And Mangus's aggression into ramp, well, it can work out here because they're not really thinking about it. Force is about to be severed off from his teammates, but he has gone outside instead, not going back into lobby. And that is the decision that keeps him alive. But Nickelback's the bomb carrier, and he certainly will have to back into lobby. He'll back right into the M4A1S that's now switched out to the AK. Mangus with the headshot, and the advantage now picked up as well as we look at 30 seconds and no bomb possession here for Entropiq. What can they hope to do in this one? They're hoping to get an opportunity, a chance, and Ilian's going to throw the Molotov in to try and force that vent player into the fight. Matthias is locking off the main play as well, but 17 seconds, again, no bomb possession. Ilian realizes a risk is needed to be made, and not enough space to play with. That aggression into ramp, the re-aggression, in fact, from Mangus, who was forced off early by the triple nade, catches off Nickelback in the bomb.
Yeah, I like that Enterprise are starting to make these information plays now, starting to make a couple of aggressive plays in these rounds. Throwing Entropiq off of their game on their map pick. Nickelback was completely removed from his teammates. And then Forsey, wow, swung into the flames for that shot. Nicely done onto Forrester. So Entropiq looked like they were starting to take over once they hit that 4-round streak, but Enterprise have bounced back, switching things up somewhat with some more active play on their CT side. And again, we still haven't seen many rounds where a lurk through yard, for example, has taken some pressure or taken some control for Entropiq. It is Entropiq who have taken the timeout here ahead of this one. I think you can see Hooch maybe more confident here in his team because it's their map pick. He doesn't have to chime in as often. This is also one of the maps where Nickelback, as a player, has his better individual performances on. It's his second highest rated map in the last few months. So definitely a map he seems to have a good understanding of. But here's that aggression again, and Krad is so low.
Krad's going to push from ramp as well, though. They're double pushed. They crunched. It's the classic lobby crunch through hut and ramp to try and put some pressure from 2 sides. Luckily, Krad gets away with that. He's very lucky, in fact, to get away with his life there. It's kind of surprising to me that no one's lost their life in that initial attack, but it's Forrester that's decided his time to open up the round as he pushes down. He's got vent control. Alive is playing towards Secret. Elsewhere on the map, Adias and Krad have traded out kills, and the Alive sits down on the lowest site. Krad coming back up now. They're trying to fight it out, but Mangus has found 2 kills, and the Alive tucked in the corner, ready and finds the bomb. It's just 1 player left, and it's Forrester in a 1 versus 3 with a minute left on this clock. And this is not a losable round completely. You know, you can still pick this up if you're Forrester, but it's going to take a lot of effort and a lot of opportunities to go his way. He's got to turn these into 1v1 fights. He's got the time. And Forrester, will get caught. Mangus with the headshot. Forrester is down. 8 rounds now for Enterprise in the CT side. It's trying to look good. They've confirmed themselves at least a round lead going into the second half here.
Aggression thrown in at the start of the round too this time, as well as some mid-round aggression coming in, just never letting Entropiq feel comfortable. This was that play from Forrester again. He's found a lot of success towards Squeaky. Krad able to find that trade, but this was Mangus pushing all the way in behind to top silo to get a couple of kills on the flank. And because Alive was down secret the whole time, he could hear those steps. He could have a pretty good idea what Entropiq were trying to do. And now Entropiq's money is in a problematic position here. Forrester has the AK, but everyone else has little more. So Forrester tries to force the fight, but this time he's denied.
Yeah, Mattis has impressed me in this series, and the Alive stepping up alongside him in this one has halted any play that Entropiq tried to run through the A side. They get caught, all of the players down, and now Elliot and Nickelback are just in a 2 versus 5. Nickelback will peek out with the AK-47. He is the player that has to do the most heavy lifting. He's the player with all of the impact available on his rifle. Shot has connected from Forsey onto him, but Nickelback is not down. He's not dead yet. He's still fighting. That AWP has fallen back because he's happy leaving Minecast here with the AK, but Nickelback has cracked open his head, and that's an important kill into the round. Still very difficult here for Entropiq to find much into it, but now they've got a big pick on the ramp. If Elian can start working this Deagle and getting some magic out of it, potentially something, Hawker. Still 48 seconds on this timer, but that bomb is not in their possession. Elian's going to have to backtrack to pick that up. Oh, they're hunting him. They're pushing him. They've called off the attack now. They're not going to be fully going around the corner. They don't want to give away any unnecessary kills. They're still in a very good position, knowing they have one player still in lobby, and that is Mattis, just holding it off. With 20 seconds, it's not really looking likely they're going to be able to recover that bomb now and get it towards the site. So we are looking at 9 rounds now for Enterprise.
We'll see what this next round starts to look like for Entropiq, because they haven't been able to handle that aggression. I wouldn't be surprised if they do just try and default again and just deal with the early aggro.
Oh, good. Elian just tried to die before the time. He was charging in to try and get a kill on the way out, perhaps, but ends up charging through with 3 seconds left as he swung in towards the door and dies after the time. So he has $2,000 to play with now. Oh, that's not where you want to be. Not where you want to be at all.
And nice presence of mind from Enterprise to realize they don't need to get that kill straight away. There's obviously no threat of the round. Now it does leave Entropiq in an awkward spot where they feel like they have to take their 3rd tactical timeout here in this first half alone.
Not only just the first half, but also you got to look at it. T-side on their map pick, and they've used up 3 of their tactical timeouts. It's not screaming comfortability. The scoreline certainly follows suit. This hasn't been the performance we were expecting out of Entropiq, but Enterprise have impressed.
They have at least managed to salvage a reasonable buy, with a couple of Galils having to be dropped to some of those players. Also got to keep an eye on whether Enterprise continue to play with some aggressive stances here. It seems to be the adaptation they've made that's been working for them. Forsey is the man pushed into hut this time. Good angle, but no kill on the shot landing. Crack goes back for more, though.
And Forsey sticks around. That's more surprising to me, but he gets overrun, and the AK gets the kill. That's the signal to go. It's a rush straight into the site. The gun goes, and the sprint begins, but Mattis and the DS have shut it down. They fouled them for a false start. Elian and Crad are into a 2 versus 4, and this round looked like it was a chance, an opening for Entropiq, but they just didn't connect. They didn't find those kills on the way through, and it's completely shut down. Crad is the only player that's had a kill in this round, but he has taken significant damage because of the earlier shot. He's down on 15. He's just chilling out towards Hell, trying to find an opportunity, trying to find a window back into it, but there's still a minute left. And 4 players stand for Enterprise, all of which are favored in the HE battle, or HP battle, should I say, as Crad starts to wrap around Heaven. AK will tuck in the corner. What a disastrous half it's been so far for Entropiq. And this round is no different.
It's been a pretty even kill distribution for Enterprise too. No one really lagging behind. I think Mattis has been the most important player for them though, getting a lot of impactful moments. This time another 3K for him. This upper sight hold, way too good. And Enterprise are in a position now where there is no reason not to hunt almost. You might as well try and see if you can get this AK out of the hands with so few rounds left in the half.
Oh, Mingus.
Yeah, don't shoot. Don't shoot here.
Oh, Crad. Sneaky beaky like. Playing a little bit of prop hunt. Stuck it in the corner. Letting his teammate jump over the top of him. At least an AK for Crad. But you know, we look at that round and how it all panned out. We see the initial shot from Forsey, it lands, but he sticks around. He doesn't get the kill from it. Then Krad's able to swing back, gets the pick, and that's the sign to go. I thought for sure in the position that they had at front HUD, I think it was Mattis playing that spot, that he was maybe going to get one, but it should be traded out by Entropiq, but the trades just weren't there, Hawker.
Now they head into the last round of the half, and they have to try and get 5 rounds. Best case scenario for them. Nickelback down to a MAC-10, Lackey down to a Deeg to make sure they can get some more utility. The Alive playing behind the red container. There's a bait and switch setup between the AWP and the rifle, but the rifle has been forced away, so it may be up to Forsey to land a shot.
Forsey holding in position. Entropiq looking to try and crunch on the scope that's waiting for them.
It's not easy to fall back from the angle Forsey's playing.
Oh, he will be able to pick it up. Smoke was going to go down, but he decides to keep it in his hands. Once again, goes to the smoke grenade. This time it will deploy. Forsey's position known, but he has come away with the pick, and Entropiq have not accelerated into him. Instead, they're sending Krad out to make the space. He's trying to get in towards Garage, and he's done that. He has been spotted, though. The backside of him is getting tied up by the Alive. A minute left as Entropiq start to find their chances and try and open up the A site. But again, the kills in the CT site just deliver, and Lackey is alone. Flawless from Enterprise to close out the half. Not a single player falls for the CTs, and that's 4 rounds posted for Entropiq on the T side of their map pick. Enterprise are certainly still in this series. What a performance out of the Enterprise side in half 1. That's going to fill them full of confidence. That'll change the mentality completely into this best of 3.
Entropiq having quite a few rounds that just end up with these sorts of A plays where Enterprise just consistently showed they were able to lock that site down. They didn't really have to rotate too many rounds. They didn't really lose too much control in a lot of those circumstances. And so their A site defense was obviously tested, but stood up to those tests almost every time. Just see by the kill counts for Entropiq, it has not been a fun half for them. A fair few of the rounds not even really that competitive. Maybe their CT side can show us signs of improvement, though. It has to at this point. Without the pistol, they could be in trouble, and they've got the dualies up close.
Diaz is just B-hopping. He's the distraction. The rest of the squad are coming in with kills. Forsey and Minkus blow for blow with Entropiq as we stand in a 3v3. They're not going to charge their way down ramp. Instead, they put pressure in towards Hell, and they have forced player their Crab back a little bit further. And he's actually gone all the way back. Instead, he'll play from main, and so now options are available to Enterprise. Do they go back down in towards the B site from ramp? Waiting for them if they go there is Elian, who has made that rotation down.
No utility for Enterprise, so there are a lot of angles they have to be aware of as they go down to B. That means that Elian in towards double door now. Maybe leaving the site entirely. No, he's got to come back.
The window. Yeah, the window's certainly culturing back, but Elian not in position because of that, and so gets overrun. The site now open, 55 seconds. They can go for the bomb plant here, no problem. At least confirming the force buy in the second round, but also their favorite to win the rounds here in the pistol as mine gets on the job already. Eliminates Krad, Forrester into the clutch. He can certainly win these. Bomb's not planted for Forsey at decon. Tap in from Forrester. Surely Forsey's starting to pull at his collar. Starting to wonder, is Forrester sticking this defuse? And Forrester will peek into him. The Raptors coming around from the other side. And 12 rounds now for Enterprise, who are now 4 rounds away from taking their opponent's map pick. And Entropiq just haven't been in this game, Hawker. They just haven't been in this match at all.
Yeah, they even had a pretty solid start to this round in terms of the positioning. They had a couple of players grouped into ramp. They had those dualies up close, which they were hoping would just be able to spam away and do damage. But Enterprise was still able to trade thanks to that first player just jumping in and drawing the attention away from his players who are following him up. That's oftentimes how you want to play those pistol rounds. Just make it as hard as possible to hit those headshots. Krad with a 3K right at the start of the round.
What an explosive return to the action we've got here. Krad with a 3K, but 3 kills have been answered back quickly from Enterprise. And so they can breathe a little bit. They can take a sigh of relief, but they have lost the bomb. And so that is the objective right now, is to try and get that bomb back, which is in the middle of the site. They have to figure out, is there a way back in? Is there an avenue of approach? Well, Forsey might find it into the back of Elian. That's not looking the right way. His teammate's not covering this off either. Elian's about to be taken down from behind. Elian out of play. Forster spotted as well. And the recovery from Enterprise around they should have always won. But Krad stepped up Entropiq for a shot. Enterprise did very well to get those kills back quickly.
I am somewhat surprised they call for a fast A play in a round where they probably know Entropiq are going to be forcing. Maybe they thought the utility would be weak, so they could just beat them out onto that A bomb site, but you've always got to be careful of those pistols. Still well recovered by Enterprise, though, and I guess it shows the level of confidence they are playing with now on Nuke, that they just call for that upper-sided rush.
This is great from Enterprise. Great counter-strike coming out of them.
Again?
But here comes it again. Just run it back-to-back. Of course you do. Forcey through with the MAC-10, and Forrester down first. Krat actually gets away with one, but traded out by Adias. You don't want to jump into the fire, though, my friend.
I mean, maybe this is how they're expecting the previous round to go, with the lack of utility there for Entropiq. It's hard to stop that fast play from happening.
Yeah, it really is. And we're now looking at 14 rounds for Enterprise. This is going to sting even more, though, when you think about that last round on Ancient. They were so close to play back to overtime. Could have won the series 2-0, Holka, if they had just done that, but fifths and buts were sweets and nuts. We'd all have a very Merry Christmas.
Not heard that one before.
Yeah, apparently that's the saying.
Oh, there you go.
I heard it one time. Someone said it to me recently. I can't remember who, but it all stuck in my head. Something random. But Elliot gets one on the way out, but it is just a parting gift. It's now 14 rounds locked in for Enterprise. They are just 2 away from taking down Entropiq on Nuke. If we have to go to the third, which is looking likely now, that'll be Mirage. Now, Entropiq can still feel comfortable about that, but I would have said that about Nuke as well, but it's not really got going at all here for Entropiq. They do drop maps, though, a lot. They drop maps a lot, Hockey. Look at some of the results online against some weaker opposition. It's a lot of 2-1s. It's a lot of 2-1s in the best of 3 wins they get.
This would have to be a monumental comeback for Entropiq on this map. Otherwise, it might be one of those 2-1s you were talking about. That's a good start for Alien, though. The AWP on yard, spots for the boost early. Enterprise maybe not fully aware that there was an AWP on the other side as they go for the boost without any utility to set up the fight early. Entropiq will take that all day long. Nades could be being set up into this A side of the map again, but Entropiq themselves are countering with some utility, and Enterprise will double back to ramp.
Oh, and Lackey is holding down in towards ramp, had a different angle chosen at the start of the round, and really has to come away with a kill. Luckily, rotation came in from his teammates, and that's much more like it for Entropiq. 5 players stay alive. Thought Lackey was going to be caught out of position there with the first couple of missed shots, but rotation was quick and Lackey wasn't punished.
Well, if Entropiq can start to get a streak going, there is a chance that they can start to play with some confidence, make some aggressive plays at times here on Nuke, try and be as disruptive as possible, because whenever you have a comeback like this, I think you kind of need rounds like this one where Enterprise never really got going. You need these very dominant rounds that just come through quickly. I was a little concerned for Lackey, considering how committed he was to that angle, but the rotation arrives in time. And a very early timeout taken by Enterprise to try and make sure they don't let this slip. I think it's good to make sure you know exactly what you're doing with your money this early on too. You don't want to go for some crazy force buy and then feel like you've given away another round unnecessarily. I believe the money for Enterprise is awkward. Some players may have money, some players I don't think do.
Well, back into the action again. This round has not started with a 3 Deagle kill, though. It's a nice slow approach to the round. You haven't missed too much, but Forrester has taken position up inside of Hut. He looks down in towards lobby for the pick of the Deagle right in front of him. Forrester won't be able to take Mangus out of play, and a man advantage will be there for Entropiq. Expected to win this round, expected to win it cleanly. Forrester has had a lot of good moments throughout this game so far, even on Nuke, where it has been very quiet, hit or miss on the Entropiq side, but that may be a little too aggressive from Forrester as he forces the issue further and gives away an AK into the hands of Mattis. Op is inside of Secret, and Elian is the player wielding it right now. Alive, look to peek in towards him, just a Glock right now, so he's gonna go down nice and easy. Just Forcey and Mattis in this 2v4, and Lackey confirms the kill onto Mattis, just leaving Forcey with an Eagle. This position of Krat is so good. Forcey seemed to be ready for it, but Krat still come out on top of the battle, as you would expect with the better weapon.
Not much to write home about in that round.
Yeah.
This is where we should see what Enterprise's T side can look like.
Really are kings, Holker, this Entropiq side. Entropiq actually have a game versus Eternal Fire right after this game. At least it was scheduled at the start of the day. So they have more Counter-Strike to play, even after this one.
Yeah, they have been playing since the Major. They've been playing a few online tournaments alongside this one. Always good to see a team willing to continue to try and improve.
Yeah. Actually played Fiend as well whilst at this competition. Both of the sides had a matchup online. Entropiq were able to come out on top of that one 2-0.
Slow start for Enterprise in this round, seeing if Entropiq try and play aggressive. And oftentimes when teams are this far down, they may just try and take some risks because they feel like it's worth just trying to make a solo play and win your team around and start that streak. You want to win a round as easily as possible at this point if you are Entropiq. Liam rotating down to lower. Forrester again playing aggressive in the hut, but Enterprise will just have the one man following up off the back of those yard smokes. With Elian down secret, though, they don't have to be that concerned about the B play right now, so I think Entropiq won't be rotating any further. They're happy to stick in this setup. And I'm not sure what the read here will be for Enterprise. 37 seconds left. They haven't done much to move Entropiq from these positions. Finally, they're going to have to make their minds up.
And Lackey will be the player tested at ramp. Let's see if he passes the test of flying colors as he finds Forsey. First to second lineup. Make it 3 for Lackey. Packs them all up and sends them packing out of the round. His teammate Elian and Nickelback able to help out in closing the round for Entropiq. The first steps are being made back into this game, and we have seen the comebacks happen in this competition before. We've seen Gambit, one of the favourites for the event, the favourite for the event, be down significantly earlier on in the competition yesterday. And they were able to claw their way back very slowly from a significant deficit. So we know it is certainly a possibility for these comebacks to happen. And that is going to be in the back of the heads of Enterprise as well.
Really strong rotation there, and as I was saying, because I don't think Enterprise did enough to stop that standard setup from Entropiq, Entropiq's rotations are going to be really good if you don't force them to reposition. Nickelback comes into position in time, and now the pistols have to come out again here for Enterprise. They have a couple of flashes, but not much else. Krad given that smoke to play top hut in case he has to smoke one of those positions. We'll boost the other player back up to the rafters. Group up looks to be into ramp again. Lackey's been solid so far at holding this down, though.
Yeah, Lackey is going to be under a good bit of pressure. Nickelback's swinging in with him. The ramp crunch comes in once more. Entropiq shutting it down with Adias around the backside, and Nickelback was not ready for it, and so therefore will cut down. AK into the hands of Adias, who tries his best to get the kill on ramp, just couldn't quite follow up with his shots. And now the Alive is now alone in a 1 versus 4. He opens the door, swings it open, tries to get down the vent, and he certainly will do that with the bomb on his back. He'll look for a bomb plant, but has actually decided to try and bait them out with a rotation. He'll try and go back up the other way through Secret. But it is a very long walk back into this position, and Krad is stuck around, so as long as that Forrester as well has even cut off the rotation from Secret. Would probably been better. Tried to swing out through Decon, but didn't get away with anything there. Entropiq will be on 8 rounds. No extra cash to play with for Enterprise as they didn't get a bomb plant.
Enterprise at least throwing a little wrinkle into that ramp play, having Adias being that player to flank, which did work. But so far, the ramp holds have been solid for Entropiq, and I think it might be time for Enterprise to test somewhere else on the map. No AWP out in this one, but AKs across the board for Enterprise. Some early utility deployed in towards Yard, and that has caused a response. Elian will be playing down Secret again. Position he is clearly comfortable with as he rotated down there in the previous round. Angus has just found an opener, though.
That's massive for Enterprise, who are just 1 round away from taking map point, as their current score reads 14-8. An advantage locked in will certainly help matters as Alive has got himself into this outside position. A lot of riflers do like to get into this spot and play a little bit more passive. The rest of the teammates start to pop their way through in towards the A side. He can come around lit from main, but he gets caught by Nickelback. And now Lackey's turn. He's dropped the bomb on the side. He's done well to get one, but swings out again. And for that, he will go down. A minute left, but through the smoke, Nickelback connects, and the bomb is not getting safely to the site. Aliens can flying up and got a kill. Adias trades him out, and so now it is just Nickelback. 1 versus 1 up against Adias. He has to run back and get that bomb. He's throwing utility up into heaven because he thinks Nickelback could have gone there. He certainly could have, but Nickelback is stuck around towards main. And that bomb is now down as Nickelback swings. Diaz is ready for the main play. It is now 15-8. Enterprise at map point. And this could be it, Hawker. They could close out Nuke and send us to the third. Everybody today was predicting a 2-0, I think, for this matchup, but Enterprise are showing they've got some skill up their sleeve.
Wasn't the cleanest round up onto the A-bomb site. They get those 2 opening kills, and at that point, you think the round is almost guaranteed as long as they trade well and stick together. But a couple of players were very far ahead of the pack. Lackey was able to isolate those early fights. I just don't think Lackey was expecting the other Ts to be so far behind. I think he was expecting to swing and take fights onto closer players, but they were actually pretty far back still. So Lackey gave away that fight. His teammates were able to try and make the most of it. As you said, Alien had to fly up the vents. It was a close run thing, but it's Enterprise up to 15. I think it is fairly important for them that they hit that 15 round mark sooner rather than later here. If it gets to a position where Entropiq are starting to get to 11 or 12 rounds, that's when it's really scary. 15-8 feels much more comfortable. It's that strange scenario where the Ts have to take a couple of weaker weapons despite having won the previous round.
Yeah, I've called a timeout.
Tech 9.
Timeout just before this, so I'm excited to see what idea they have around it, and they have lost their first players. They're going to have to do it on hard mode to try and close out this map. Mattis spotted an opportunity, and it certainly was a good chance to take down Krad and bring the numbers back down to a 4 versus 4. Couldn't quite capitalize on the opportunity. Krad has taken damage, but no kill.
Might have to be a backup plan for Enterprise at this point. They have a couple of smokes at their disposal, but Alien has been playing down Secret in many of these rounds with the orb. This is another one where he will look to take initiative. Doesn't spot anyone up top though, so he goes back down. Gives Enterprise a chance to start to sneak through yard. I think they may use their smokes though, and if they do that, then they might give the game away.
They're starting to use the utility up in towards the A site. Main smoke has come in as well, and Nickelback is cutting off the play towards outside. It's very hard to peek dry into the rifle at long range there. Nickelback will happily take those kills alongside Krad collecting the follow-ups here for Entropiq. Enterprise come into this round with, yes, a weakened buy. They would have liked a little more out of this. Not a single kill picked up for them as 9 rounds now into the scoreboard for Entropiq. Enterprise still 1 round away from stealing away this game, but not a lot of money to do it in this one.
Yeah, you can see the idea from Enterprise there, hoping that they could just draw every single eye away from yard and then just sneak down Secret with the bomb. But as soon as Nickelback comes back in time and spots them in the open, that chance is gone. We've got the double AWP setup out now for Entropiq. I don't expect Enterprise to be going ramp here with the pistols, though. They went a few times. They never really found any success with that aggression. Some utility available, including some flashes to try and go for a fast yard play.
Flashes go forward, and Adias is certainly fast. He's towards hell already, broken open the window and starting to wrap up towards heaven. This is starting to worry Entropiq a little bit, realizing how much map control they have conceded. There goes that one-way smoke. Wants to peer out of heaven. They're worried about a potential close heaven play, but it's the rifler Forrester who actually goes down immediately to the Tech 9. Krad has got a lot more pressure. He's overrun. The Tech 9s are doing it, and this might just be the final round of Nuke. It's on Alien and Lackey to try and pull this back. Entropiq's map pick is slowly but surely, in fact, I would say rapidly now, slipping through their fingers as Alien and Lackey are trying to get back into the site. Enterprise have put the bomb down. They're getting pressure from all sides. Elian forced around the backside, and even the Glock has found a kill. Lackey with just a P250 swinging now. He's got the AWP out, but it's not going to be enough as 4C brings him down. 16-9 win for Enterprise as they keep themselves alive in the series, and their dreams of a semi-final placing are still here and now. And for Entropiq, they've got to pull up their socks heading into this final map on Mirage, because they know waiting for them in the quarterfinals, if they drop down here or if they lose this matchup, they've got Gambit waiting for them. That is not an easy team. The loser of this will have to play Gambit, and that is not where you want to be.
Yeah, good to see the depth of the playbook start to come through at the end there. After Enterprise were getting shut down at ramp, round after round, they go for that yard play, and with the way the setup was there for Entropiq in that one, Lackey was actually playing ramp really alone, so he had to fall back super defensively. They gave up so much ground towards Heaven and Hell, and then you could see the CTs on A just start to panic because there's so many angles they have to be scared of. A really cool round to close it for them, just with some fast flashes through yard, and nice to see that Enterprise have been a real surprise the whole tournament, and they're still finding ways to surprise us.
On day one, we've seen them as a potential upset team. We've seen them as a team that could certainly give us some excitement, but we did not expect them to bring a fight to the invited teams to this level. We are going to go to a break now before we hop into our final map, which will be Mirage. After the break, we'll have the desk to break down map 2.